Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of DoubleClutch.ca magazine, and this week we have a full house. We have Nathan and Ben in, and recurring guest and dear friend of DoubleClutch.ca, Jeff Wilson.
I'm just here for the free pizza.
We promised him free pizza, but...
Nick, where's the pizza?
It's in the box. I keep telling him it's in that black box.
It's not in that black box.
Just go and check it. It's in there.
Just look in the box, Jeff. It's there.
I'll look at the box after we're done.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So, what have you been up to, man?
Well, I had a really nice trip out to Western Canada last week where I got to drive the new Hyundai Santa Fe.
Holy shit! I did that too.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa!
Should we talk about that?
I think we should.
I really liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think if I can just start rambling a little bit here. So
go ahead. Air your grievances.
No, very, very few grievances. Okay, if we're going to air the grievances, we'll start with that then. So the XRT trim, which is the new kind of...
It's sort of like tough off-roady version, but it's
it's like let's put
tough.
Hiking boots on our crossover.
Yeah.
And
that's a good analogy.
That's kind of the extent.
It's like he writes and makes words for a living.
I stitch them together on occasion. So, they made it look really cool. And it does have some quasi all-terrain-ish sort of tires, but it's not really an off-roader. So I don't really get into this whole let's make these things look what they aren't.
Yeah.
For me, the real winner in that lineup was the other one that we got to drive, which was the Ultimate Calligraphy. And that thing, for however many monies it costs, is seems to be a very good value.
How many monies does it cost? Actually, fill me in. Give me the vitals on this thing, because I know nothing about it other than that it looks like, to Ben's point, who pointed this out earlier today off mic, it looks like a Ford Flex. Tell me literally anything about this, because I know nothing.
So the XRT, that's basically the mid-range trim. So that's about 47-ish, like just over 47, and you do get an appreciable amount of standard equipment with it. So you get the 2.5 liter turbo 4.
Okay.
I want to say 277 horsepower, 311 torque.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Hooked up to an 8-speed dual clutch auto.
That's still the dual clutch, eh? Okay.
It's actually it's been improved over the Santa Cruz. It doesn't feel jerky at all at low speeds. It doesn't have the jerkiness. It doesn't have low speed,
100%. That actually was noteworthy. We really kind of dug into that because that was a complaint that I've had about that drivetrain in the past. But no, they've dialed it in. They've
done an impressive job, smoothing out the kinks. I honestly cannot find any big faults with that car, with that crossover.
Yeah, no, it cruises beautifully. It's super quiet. Yeah. Really quiet. The ride is good. It handles as well as it needs to for a quasi 3-row SUV. They've got it dialed in.
And the Ultimate Calligraphy, that is about 53, roughly 53.5, fully loaded.
53 decked out.
That's a lot of money. That's firmly in the Palisade territory.
It is, and yet it's not. So the third row isn't as roomy as the Palisade by any means. It's pretty tight on legroom, but there's good headroom back there. It's more of an occasional third row. If you like the idea of the Palisade, but you don't really see yourself using the third row seats regularly, it's a good consolation prize.
Just like the Sorento has been.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it the same platform as the Sorento?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the Sorento was good, so I have no doubt the Santa Fe is good as well. It looks good, even though I can't unsee it after my friend pointed it out. It looks like a Ford Flex.
Yeah. You see Flex, I see a lot of Defender in it.
Absolutely.
Minus the exterior mounted spare tire, it's a dead fucking ringer for a Defender.
Is it because of the XRT dress up that you see the Defender?
No, it's in general.
Yeah,
it's very Defender in my eyes. In like regardless of the trim, especially in white.
See, I saw Defender until Ben pointed out Flex. Now I can't unsee Flex. I still see Defender inside. I think that steering wheel is lifted straight out of a Range Rover.
Oh
Exactly,
yeah. The interior especially is very Defender like, and that's arguably a good thing because like it's a very nice environment. It feels appreciably premium. There's a lot of good storage space.
Hyundai Kia is very good about that. Like their choice of materials and making things look like way nicer than they are, just through like quality and like.
And they're very
smart
easy to live
design.
with. That's what I like about Hyundais and Kias.
They're very practical.
Their infotainment, when you use it, you can tell like it's designed around the users. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I can't make an example, but I remember every time I'm in one, I'm like, oh, this feature is right there.
It's just right there. Yeah.
Everything falls like there's zero learning curve to like the infotainment of this thing. It's the same basic system that they've been using for a while now, just like reskinned a little bit. So
And with the availability of wireless smartphone connectivity.
Right? They finally figured it out. You can finally get wireless CarPlay, Android Auto throughout the trim lineup.
Actually, hang on. I don't think I've posed this question to either of our friends, Jeff and Ben here. What do you guys feel about CarPlay, Android Auto? Do we use those? Do you like them?
I do use them.
I use it often.
Yep.
Okay, so it's just me being the odd man out.
Okay,
proceed.
You're the Luddite here.
I listen to the radio when I'm driving to work.
Yep.
So I do use the native interface, and but then for the rest of the time, I use Android Auto. I listen to music when I'm done work, so it's kind of interesting. I use it half the day.
Okay, all right.
I'm the same way. I listen to the radio most of the time. I'd say like 95% of the time. Very, very rarely I'll feel inclined to like put on a podcast or listen to my music. But I'm usually radio plus like Waze or something, and that just makes like wireless CarPlay. I hate to admit, but it's so convenient.
It's convenient for me as as an Android Auto user. It's convenient until it doesn't connect. And there are quite a few examples where I would just
drops out.
Yeah, like I just get back in and now I can't get back in there. Or what I really dislike is every time when I want to be on the radio, and then when I restart the car, it goes back to my Spotify, and I have to now go back into native. The interface.
And apologize to your passengers for your poor choice in music.
Yeah,
I get it.
Not podcast, yes.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, I was thinking, so this thing goes from what, mid-40s to mid-50s,
Mid-40s.
53?
And
So what does it compete with?
That's a really good
It's
question.
one of those tweeners, right?
It is. So dimensionally, it's close in size to most other two rows out there. Like it's close in size to the Passport. Well, it's a little roomier than the Atlas Cross Sport simply because of the roofliner. You have a lot more space in the not the Palisade, in the Santa Fe compared to the two-row Atlas. But that makes sense because the Atlas is a coupe SUV, so of course it's going to have more.
The thing that struck me was the vehicle that they had really earmarked, I guess, as a competitor for this. They said in the presentation was that the Outback, which I thought,
that's right. I remember.
Gosh,
someone mentioning that. Yeah,
that would be strange.
I think I remember Kyle mentioning that on when I was with him on the Ranger trip. It's like, they're saying it's an Outback competitor, and that's not what I mean. It makes sense because when I see the Santa Fe, and then maybe this is just a photo thing, but it looks low. It doesn't look like an SUV. It looks kind of low, like an Outback or a Ford Flex. That's what I get from it just in the photos, and I might be like drunk off my ass on that.
It's not that low. I
think it's a styling thing that's getting you there.
It's just a weird optical trick. It looks low, kind of like an Outback. It looks like a lifted wagon rather than a full-blown SUV.
I don't get that. To me, it didn't look Outback-ish like at all.
Okay.
But like it's really hard to pick out a competitor because like there are so few legitimately good and not dated two-row SUVs out there because like the Ford Edge, the Nissan Murano, those are on their way out.
Is it still? I didn't even know they were still selling the Murano.
They are,
dude.
Oh my god,
it's still around.
Yeah, so
I had one last year.
All these tweeners. We're talking about Passport, the Venza, I find
Benz is on the way out.
Benz is on the way out.
they're on the way. Yeah, like they each have a very different target. I find with the Venza, it's kind of going after just a slightly posher RAV4 clientele.
Yeah,
and then the Passport is going after a completely different clientele
than the Pilot.
And then the Outback does a different thing. So it's interesting to see all these tweeners kind of having different ideas.
The way I see it is that the Santa Fe now fills that gap that was left behind as 3-row SUVs became more expensive. Like, wasn't that long ago when usually, stuff like the Pilot, the Telluride, the Palisade, they would ostensibly top out at the mid $50,000 mark. Mm-hmm. But now they're topping out at well over $60K. Like
they've moved up market. Pilot. Look at the CX-90 for example. Mm-hmm. The Pilot tops out at like 63 or 64 for the Black Edition. The Grand Highlander, it's even more expensive.
Yeah. Like mine was like 63 or 4, I think. I guess that makes sense. Is as the 3 rows become more commonplace and get bigger and further up the price scale, something's got to step in to kind of fill that void.
Yeah.
And the only kind of compelling offering, now that I think about it, is the Outback, the Outback, the Pilot, and now the Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And
Sorrento.
With the Sorrento. That's right.
Yep.
I keep forgetting that exists, and I shouldn't because it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think with what they've gone for with the styling on this, just with how striking it is, like I think they're going to sell.
For sure. This thing is a winner.
They're going to sell 30 billion of them. Like, it might be a little derivative, a little possibly very derivative.
Yeah,
but I don't.
You could certainly make that argument that Hyundai really, really, really drew inspiration from a certain other blocky SUV. Mm-hmm. But I think it's kind of clever that they modeled such a bread and butter SUV after something like a Defender, which is aspirational for a lot of buyers.
Yeah, it's a pretty ballsy play on their part.
Yeah,
but it works. Like I remember,
it works. It looks good.
I was at the auto show. We were all at the auto show not long ago, and the attention that this thing got. Like I was on there on a public day, and everybody was crowding that Santa Fe, wanting to just see it.
Yeah,
they were asking questions: Is it a gas or is it a hybrid?
Yeah.
What does it do? So like, there's definitely interest. I've got friends who are asking me about it. So they're generating a lot of buzz.
Well, that brings up another interesting point. So you've indicated, Nick, the XRT is sort of the mid-level trim, and it's got the 2.5 turbo, and then up from there. So then there's luxury trim above that, and then ultimate calligraphy at the top.
Yeah.
What I thought was kind of interesting though was that the hybrid is going to be the entry-level offering, right?
Oh.
And they made a pretty good point in the presentation of saying, well, listen, chances are people that are kind of more financially aware in this segment, let's say, they're going
to paraphrase George Costanza, not cheap, just careful with money.
Exactly, that's right. They're going to be very appreciative of having a more efficient vehicle, which the hybrid would ostensibly be.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of neat. That was a good, clever idea to go with that one.
And that's interesting because that's completely different than what Honda is doing with the CR-V.
Mm-hmm. It's also different what Hyundai is doing in the States.
Is it? Okay.
In the States, the hybrid is available all throughout the lineup. Like, regardless of the trim level, you can get like a base Santa Fe with either the gasser or the hybrid.
Huh. That's weird.
But yeah, it's interesting because, like, I feel like the sweet spot of the lineup is going to be the preferred, so the one up from base with the Trend package, because that gets you all the stuff you basically need. The digital gauge cluster, the nice infotainment setup, dual zone climate, leatherette seating, big sunroof, whatever, pretty wheels, with the hybrid powertrain for not a lot of money.
That's good value.
That's like the mid 40s for a well-equipped, stylish 3-row SUV with good fuel economy.
Did they have any like base ones there, or was it just the Ultimate and the XRT?
No, just the Ultimate and the XRT, because they're launching the gassers first here, and then the hybrids are coming in the summer.
I see.
Yeah, not even that far behind, is it? It's like only a month behind, I thought. So the gassers are there now on the dealer lots, basically, because they're all built in Alabama.
Yeah.
And the hybrids are all being built in Korea.
I
And
see.
So
Yeah.
Production's-
they're about a month behind, I think, is what
Yeah,
they were
in
saying.
terms of production, but I think it's like late
that's
spring,
right, yeah.
early summer that the hybrids are going to hit dealers here,
Right, fair enough.
more or less. But yeah, it's I was, the only real flaw that I found with the new Santa Fe is that it uses a digital climate control panel.
Boo.
With
Hyundai's been so good about that too.
on top of that, it doesn't do haptic feedback, so you're just kind of blindly poking at it, hoping that you're pushing the right button, and like it doesn't give any sort of confirmation that like you've actually activated what you wanted to activate.
Disappoint. They're so, and they said like they
weird.
said they had like, I remember hearing a statement. I might be conflating Kia with Hyundai, but I remember hearing a statement, like a company-wide statement, saying like they're committed to physical controls because they make more sense.
It's not Kia because they already went away with that. I don't even know what you call it. You touch it and you switch between the
I
forgot
what it's called, but like where it switches between the audio and the climate.
And the climate,
that's the most frustrating of all.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the thing that like it's like that USB where you have to like use 3 times just to plug it in once. Like because every time I look down, I'm kind of like I forget which panel am I in because for listeners who don't know, like this Kia basically they have this panel where it'll display the volume, but then it's on the same screen, and you can actually touch a switch button to switch it over to climate control. You use the same controls,
the same controls for
the same buttons
just
to actually
different
adjust
context.
it.
Yeah.
So if you said,
Super
I'm feeling
frustrating.
a little chilly, and you wanted to get some heat and hurry, you could just end up turning up the volume and
And that's-
blast your crappy podcast instead.
Oh, and that's well, what I find myself doing is even worse. Like I would be in the climate, and then I would want to reach down and I just let me touch the switch button and then crank it, thinking that I'm in audio.
Yeah.
Now I crank my volume, and then I turn it back down, and I gotta touch it again. Like I gotta go 3 times just to change it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your eyes are off
And
the road the
it's-
whole time as you're trying to do this. And
It's
then
not
you
great. It's
crashed and burned.
And
in
it's
the ditch.
weird because the Santa Fe still has a good amount of physical switch gear as well. You still have you still have a fucking tuning knob.
There's still a tuning knob, but not physical climate.
Right. And you still have temperature knobs, like physical temperature knobs, but the rest of the panel is just a digital panel that doesn't offer haptic feedback. It's frustrating.
That sounds.
Well, let me ask our panel of experts here around this table.
I'm an expert now.
Well, we're all pretending to be anyway.
Okay.
For vehicles that have automatic climate control, are you guys set it and forget it sort of people, or are you?
Every
no,
time.
I'm always fiddling with it, and I'm never happy, and I've always got to be putzing around.
I'm firmly in that later camp there.
21 degrees, automatic, never touch it again.
There you go.
I
So
play
who
with the
cares if it's
temperature.
got haptic buttons or not? Then
Defrost.
No, I can't leave it at 21 because the 21 feels different to me when I'm in the car, and sometimes I go 22 and 23. Like I would do that, even the half degrees. Like I don't know why, but I would, thinking that I'm a little chilly, so I'll turn it up by half a degree and I don't know, see how the car responds, kind of thing.
I keep it on auto and play with the temperatures, but with the Santa Fe specifically, your heated seats, your cooled seats, and your heated steering wheel, they're all locked on the digital panel.
See, that bothers me.
So you're still messing with.
I do play with those, and I
you're still
want those
messing
to
with
be
that.
things.
Yeah.
Although I think that is also derivative of previous gen Land Rovers, where they had a separate climate screen that was under the main screen on
that's right.
everything.
yeah,
That's a good point.
And yet it doesn't do the clicky knob arrangement where you can like click the actual knob itself.
There's a knob.
On the Range Rover.
On Range Rovers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just hit the knob itself to
Yeah,
adjust
I know
the
what you
heated
mean.
seats
Yeah.
and cooled seats accordingly.
Yeah, that was nice.
Cool touch, but I guess they couldn't crib too much off of it.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Well, anyway, enough about the Santa Fe. I
Yes.
think I want to hear about your trip, Nathan.
Yeah,
mentioned
Nathan, you were
went to
also
see
out of-
the Ranger.
You're also out
Yes.
of the office.
So our friends at Ford flew me down to Salt Lake City to check out the new Ranger and the Ranger Raptor, and they're both pretty good. What else you guys want to talk about?
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
But wait, isn't that facility that Ford's got down there really cool?
It's actually really cool. It's actually
Yeah.
great. It's so cool. It's a really cool location. It's right outside this little town called Tooele at the base of the Rockies. So it's like you look one way and you're crawling up a mountain. You look the other way and it's just dunes. It's sick.
That's so cool.
So did you
and
not
we used
play
both.
Did you not play at, what is it, like Barber Motorsports Park or whatever that's over there too?
No.
Okay. So a few years ago with the current generation Raptor, I guess, they flew us down there to drive around in the desert as well. But they also took us to Barber Motorsports Park. I think that's what the track is down there. Anyway, great facility. Really, really cool facility.
That's cool.
And so they had like things to test the off-road capability in sort of a safe fashion.
I see. Okay,
right?
so kind of like an obstacle sort of course?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so you could sit there and go up to like 30-degree lean angle, and then one of the engineers would hang off the box and like try to swing, and you know, you're sitting there puckering.
Ford's really good about like making sure you get to experience like the absolute limit of what the thing can do. Like they're very good about that.
So did you at least get some air with that?
I did in fact get some air in a Ranger Raptor a couple of times actually. Because they had one course that was set up deliberately just for jumps, for photo ops, and like they had a Baja course that like right at the end of it, after a long straight, there's just a sharp drop, and like if you hit it fast enough, you're flying.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I did that a few times.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I do want to hear about the Ranger though, because that comes up a lot for people who are buying trucks. We all know the F-150 has gone way too big, way too expensive. Not very. I won't say not even practical anymore because they're so posh, they're so nice.
Yeah.
And then the Maverick it's a little too small.
Yeah.
And for what, like 5-6 years now, I cannot recommend the Ranger because I want to. It's the right size for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the right gearbox. Doesn't have the right the tuning.
It's just such a dated product. It was so dated when it got here.
It's 10 years old from Australia that it came here. So tell us about the new one.
So the Ranger is still pretty Australian.
Crikey!
To very good effect. The thing is fantastic. We didn't have as much time with the Ranger as I would have liked because like the event schedule got kind of jumbled with a bunch of canceled flights because everyone was going through Chicago O'Hare and there was a ground stop that day. So it was kind of jumbled, but they gave us a walk around and then we took it up into the mountains outside of Salt Lake City and played with it up there. So vitals from what I can recall. The base XL starts at 41. Goes up to 53 for the loaded Lariat. I guess like plus a couple options, you're about like 55, 56. The engine available at start is the same 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder that was in the last Ranger.
Tuned any different or still the same numbers?
Same numbers, 270 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque.
How's the transmission though?
10-speed. It felt fine. In my hour and change, 2 hours on a road with it, it felt totally fine.
Okay.
I have no complaints about it.
That's a big improvement there.
Yeah, because that 10-speed, because I don't love that 10-speed in everything. Like, in some vehicles it feels fine. In the Mustang I had it in, it was kind of bad. Like the first, second gear can be kind of lurchy. I know what you're referring to. I didn't get any of that out of this. I think they got it dialed in pretty nicely. It's a very refined powertrain, like surprisingly refined powertrain, especially given its age. Like it's quiet, it's smooth, it's pretty good on gas from what I could tell. Obviously hard to give like a real number on because I was pounding it in a mountain like 6,000 feet above sea level, but like seemed pretty good. It was like it's quieter than the new 2.7 in like the GMC Canyon. Like quieter and feels better. Like that motor puts out more power, but it is really agricultural and in how it does it. This just felt nicer.
Is there another engine?
Yes. Yeah. The 2.7 V6 EcoBoost out of the F-150 is coming later this year to that truck, which puts it exclusive in its class. The Tacoma doesn't have that. The Canyon doesn't have that. I don't know if they even can. No, because those engines are discontinued, if I recall correctly, right? Toyota's not doing the V6 anymore.
Correct.
And I don't think GM has 3.6 anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't paid any attention to the GM's. Oh, that's news that they don't have the V6 anymore.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but from what I recall, at least from what I know on the trucks right now, like you can't get a V6. So yeah, they have their own V6.
So then you'd need to go a Nissan for a competitor.
You need to go to a Nissan, yeah.
Right, okay.
And this is a much more modern, much better driving truck. It drives great. Like, so it's 2.5 inches wider, 2 or 2.5 inches wider, slightly longer wheelbase, hydroformed front and rear structure, so they can use a little less material and space things a little further out to fit in that V6. The wheel wells are further apart by use of using outboard dampers. By doing this, they have much better ride just because everything's a little further apart. and better geometry for better ride control, and the truck drives great. It handles really well. The steering is actually surprisingly good. I can see, like, if Ford wanted to do, like, say, the high-performance four-cylinder that they have in the Mustang, if they wanted to drop that in with, say, I don't know, the 7-speed out of the Bronco, which should bolt right onto it, and lower it like 2 inches, that would be a sweet, fun truck. I could see that being really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it is a surprisingly good chassis. Drives great, handles great, rides great, it's quiet. Interior is really well thought out. It uses, like, the portrait-style screen out of the edge that has the physical climate controls under it. Looks nice, modern, quiet.
Like a full stack of physical controls, or just
basic climate. So you have volume knob and like some climate.
Okay.
It's on Sync 4, like everything else is now. It's not like in your face huge tech like the Lightning is. It's just like practical, makes a lot of sense. What else is there? The bed is there's no multiple body configuration. It is crew cab and 5-foot bed. That's it. Ford's whole thing was like, instead of trying to like please everybody, let's just do this one thing really well. Lots of space up front, tons of storage space. Even like a wireless charging tray is standard on the XLT and up.
Not bad.
The rear seats actually have like a good amount of room, because in these smaller trucks, that's usually like a sticking point. And they've got that right here. Like I could sit beside myself, no problem.
Yeah. That was my, like, one sticking point with the last Ranger. Like, I'm not even that tall, and it was still kind of challenging to, like, sit behind myself in that thing.
Yeah.
The old one was pretty tight.
Yeah, so they got that fixed up nice. The rear seats either lift up for storage underneath or fold flat, so you can get something big in there without wrecking your seats. Because the wheel wells are further apart in the bed, it is now 48 inches across. You can get sheets of plywood in there. There are 6 tie downs, so you can actually secure them. 2 power outlets. Like, they did their homework on this. I think the big takeaway is that, like, they have finally taken the attention to detail that they always give the F-150 and channeled it at this little truck, and it shows.
I think it's Ford realizing that, people actually want this
People
Ranger
want
truck,
this
because
thing.
like we just talked about the tweeners filling in for the 3-row SUVs. This is the same thing. This is filling in for that F-150 void, because people are finding the F-150 too big to live with.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people who are going to line up for this Ranger.
Yeah.
Because
it just makes so much more sense.
Let's face it, like a full size F-150 is just too big. For every day.
Yeah, and like a full size F-150 with the equipment you want on it is like $20,000 more. And like, what are you going to do with an F-150? Realistically, 95% of use cases that the Ranger can't do. It can tow 7,500 pounds. There's comfy space for 4 people. It has 8,000 cup holders, because trucks need to have that for some reason. Like, what can it do?
They're all 5-foot boxes?
All 5-foot box.
So, what is it in the? Well, I guess first of all, the competitors, are they all doing? What are they doing?
I think they're all 5. I know that. I can't speak to the Chev. I think the Chevrolet Canyon has more options. I don't recall specifically. I know the Chevy Colorado has bed options, but I don't know for sure. From what I recall, the GMC Canyon is the exact same, crew cabin, 5-foot only. I don't know what Toyota's doing.
And then what about the Maverick? What's the bed size in that?
4.5.
I think,
I remember
certainly
it's
narrower.
4-ish.
Narrower. Yeah,
it's definitely shorter.
Yeah, so
and it's already the biggest one in the compacts, the real compacts.
Yeah, it's a more usable bed than the Santa Cruz, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's only 2 in the compacts. I forget. So yeah.
Like this thing is the size of an F-150 like 20 years ago.
Which is what made it popular.
Yeah. Right? Like it's such a right sized truck. It makes a lot of sense. It's efficient. It drives great. Like, it can do everything you really need a truck to do. And I think that's the thing. The people who are buying this are buying because they need a truck, not because they need to flex, not because they want a giant Leviathan behemoth. It's just, I need a truck. I need it to do truck things. This is that truck.
Yeah.
And it can be an honest to God work truck like the last Ranger was, because it was always behind. It was only a work truck. And now it can also be a nice thing, like the F-150.
Yeah.
I think they crushed it. Like, it's such an impressive product.
It's awesome. And you want to talk a little bit about the Raptor?
So the Raptor is basically the same thing, but it can fly.
Sick.
Enough said.
They did a ton with it. It's a really cool program that they did with it. So almost all of the R&D and testing, it actually might be all, but I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on it, was done in Australia. Ford's director of performance there actually drives a Ranger Raptor as his daily.
Nice.
and has run it. So like this thing cut its teeth on it's called the Tats Fink race that runs in and out of Alice Springs in like northern Australia, from what I recall. It's different from the Baja 1000 that the Raptor, that the F-150 kind of cut its teeth on, because it is very loose sand and it's way faster. So in trying to set up the Raptor, they didn't want it just to be a small F-150. Like they wanted to have its own character, and that character needed to work in that turf.
Yeah.
So it's very tight, very nimble. The whole thing was like athletic and tight. And they nailed that. This thing is a ridiculously good chassis. Like, pitch it through a corner, it will rotate.
Wow.
Like, eagerly, naturally, like really well. It's stupidly fun to drive. Uses the same 3-liter EcoBoost V6 out of the Bronco Raptor, which I thought was just a punched out 2.7, but it's actually different block, different heads, different turbo design, like totally different motor altogether.
Right.
Slightly retuned for a broader torque spread. They say like 90% of torque is available from idle to redline.
It's a pretty good spread.
And it includes an anti-lag system, so it keeps the turbos running for 3 seconds when you come off throttle. So like when you say brake going into a corner, let it rotate and then punch it, it's right there and it'll just kind of power out.
Nice.
Can also rock crawl. So like half of the day we're going up those mountains I was talking about at the beginning of this segment, and it's totally unfazed by anything. And because it's approximately a third of the size of the F-150 Raptor that was leading us up, like I could take whatever line I wanted. I can go up this way and hop over that, or da-da-da-da-da. Whereas in something huge like the F-150, you're kind of stuck. I hope you can fit through that, because otherwise you're trapped. Overall, really impressive package. Did I talk about numbers? Vitals, 400 horsepower, 430 foot-pounds of torque. The 10-speed is beefed up, so like it can actually like bang, bang, bang through shifts when you're like at full throttle.
Nice.
It's got a pile of off-road modes for locking front, locking rear diff, Baja mode, off-road mode, rock crawl, hill descent and hill ascent control.
Hill ascent control.
Ascent.
Really?
So it works just like hill descent.
Yeah.
But ascent.
Huh.
It's actually fucking brilliant. And then like a pile of cameras with like tire marks on the camera, so you can see exactly where you're putting your wheels.
Clever.
For like crawling over rocks and stuff. Like they do a whole bunch to make it so that like it'll flatter an idiot, but there's enough like meat in it that like someone who's really good can really appreciate it. Like I'm the idiot, and my drive partner that day was the professional who could really make the best out of it. And it's actually really great. Like, even little things like, when if you want to, say, go down a steep rocky grade on your own without using hill descent, just left foot braking like a pro does, like it's set up that like I could pick it up easy, because there's enough give in the pedal to kind of ride it, and then you can sort of modulate from there. Like just little things like that where you can tell they sat down and thought about, how do we make this fucking perfect.
Cost?
$77.
Ooh,
that's less than I thought.
Yeah, me too, because
it's
the
not
Bronco
bad.
Raptor is a very spicy meatball, and so I was worried that if it's sharing so much of the mechanicals there, that it was going to be equally spicy. But no, that's
77.
That's actually it's super
not bad for a
competitive.
performance car. Can I say it? Like people will use it as a performance car. Let's face it, nobody's going Baja racing here in Ontario with it.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be driving to work like it's a performance car.
Yeah, and it also handles on road very well. Like the enormous like Fox live valve shocks that they're so proud of, are great on road as well. The front and rear frames are totally different. Like the front shock mounts are like crazy beefed up to accommodate for everything. The rears have the biggest mounting ears I've ever seen in my life. They're like so comically oversized. There's a watch length to help like triangulate the rear end when you're flying it over dunes at like 100 miles an hour. It's ridiculously good, like shockingly excellent.
A lot of legit hardware in that thing. Sounds like
super actually very little in the way of gimmicks. Everything is tools that actually work and work very well.
Ooh, I can't wait to drive one.
It's actually very good.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Speaking of trucks, Nathan, what are you in this week?
I am in one of those enormous trucks that I was just taking the piss out of. So here's the thing. As much as I like to take the piss out of huge trucks for like kind of misplaced masculinity and this, that, and flexing on the Joneses and whatever, I love this shit. I love getting into like a comically oversized, huge, like big badass diesel, whatever, $110,000 truck, and letting my masculinity be misplaced. It's so fun. I love these things. They're huge.
So what do you have?
I have a GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali Ultimate Duramax.
I had to ask you what engine was in there.
Yeah, so you and I were out earlier today, and like you weren't sure whether it was the gas or the diesel.
It was pretty fucking quiet for a Duramax.
And that was the thing that I got when I had basically the Chevy equivalent to the same truck last fall. Like, I didn't know what it was I was getting into. It's the big gray one out front. So I jump in, fire it up, and I wasn't sure if I had a diesel or not. And normally, like, immediately, you know. Mm-hmm. It just sounds like an angry typewriter.
Especially with those big trucks. Like, they sound like a...
They sound like a bus.
Commercial vehicle.
Yeah. This doesn't do that. It's an oppressively refined engine. It pulls great. It's decent on gas, and I'm getting like 14 liters per 100 right now, which is not bad for something that's the size of a house and can rip that house out of the ground.
What can it actually tow? Do you know what the
I have not. I just picked it up this afternoon, so I have done almost no homework on it.
10 million pounds.
I was to say that oftentimes these days, like it's just this arms race to see who can tow more, and
it's
absurd
ridiculous.
numbers that they can
I mean, like it
pull
has like the things you would expect to see in a truck like that. So like there's cutouts for what's it called? The fifth thing? Gooseneck. Thank you. Yeah. I haven't written one of these in a while, so I forgot. Yeah, so we got cutouts for that. I think with the gooseneck, I don't recall. I don't want to be wrong. You boys talking to look this up for my last review.
But yeah, we took it up for lunch today. Very comfortable too. Very lovely interior in that thing.
Yes, it was.
The Denalis they are posh. Eh?
This is not a work truck, guys. Like,
no,
I don't know how to.
This is the boss's truck.
You're not going to a construction site with this. You're towing your yacht. Like you're basically doing that.
Yeah. So this one's like a darkish gray. I want to say chrome wheels on that thing.
They're like the big thing they're doing with like the Denali Ultimates is like the black chrome thing like everywhere, which looks really good. I love it. I think it looks great, honestly.
When I saw it just outside now, the big, I guess it's black chrome grill on the thing.
Yeah.
It looked to me like they'd forgotten to do the PDI, and it still had that plastic wrap over proper chrome.
It is a little uneven. It might just because it's dirty.
Oh, I don't know. Like it just looks like it. I don't know. It just looks like dark chrome, but that it's got plastic wrap on it or something.
The interior is probably lovely. I love the brown upholstery.
Yeah, they call it umbra, dark umbra, if I recall correctly. Burnt umbra, something like that.
Umbra. It's also got like it's got that cross baseball stitching stuff on the seats.
The cabin, on the big Denali's is like super nice. They're all like all the press ones are like black with that two-tone caramel interior with the baseball stitching with like the warm pedal wood trim. Like it's nice. 18,500 on a gooseneck.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good, I guess.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good for a bus.
Tow a boat or house.
Yeah,
a house or a condo.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's 975 foot-pounds of torque.
Funny how they didn't really target the 1,000 foot-pound figure that everyone else is targeting in their HD trucks.
Nah, I don't know. It's also a way nicer engine, is the thing.
Absolutely.
I don't mean to throw shade, but last year I had an F250 with the new 6.7 Power Stroke, and it's the new high output version with like 1,200 foot-pounds, and yes, that thing was comically fast for how big it was. And it sounded like a bus, and it drove like a bus, and it felt like a bus. It was a nice bus, but it felt like a bus. This just drives like a big truck.
And what's the cost of this thing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I want to say 105, 110, something like that.
Your high country was like.
Actually, wait, I still have this open.
It was like 110-ish.
110 for the high country Silverado I had. This is nicer, so I would guess like 115, 120.
Sounds about right. That checks out.
It's a lot of clams.
It's a lot of vehicle, though.
It is.
True.
And their big thing is that because GM uses independent front suspension on their HD trucks, or at least on the 2500s, whereas Ford and Ram use a solid front axle. As a result of that, people knock them they're not as tough. Okay, but it's still really tough. and it drives way nicer.
Yeah, I was in an F-250 not that long ago, and oh my God, it was abusive. And it was a high-spec truck, too.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, this is what trucks used to be like.
This is what trucks used to feel like. This is what happens when you have a bed that's supposed to accommodate thousands of pounds. When it's unladen, it's just everywhere.
It just rocks you like crazy.
Yeah, and this, from what I understand, doesn't have like active dampers or air or anything like that. It's just a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Nick and Ben, why don't you tell us about the vehicle you are fighting over?
Ben was so excited to talk about this. So I stole Ben's press car for a couple of days this week because I really wanted to sample this end of an era type of vehicle. It is. We also have the 2024 Toyota Camry TRD in the garage this week. Ooh. And why don't you tell us about how you feel, Ben?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all right.
That's all you got? You've been like hounding us all day about it. Now you're just going to go, it's okay?
It's good. No, I genuinely love this. Jeff's there rolling his eye at me because he has spent a little time with it, and he knows it doesn't make sense. I'll be honest. Like this thing doesn't. This Camry V6 TRD. This is the last V6 in the Camry lineup. Camry used to have a V6 in the XSD, the sporty one, and the XLE, the luxury one, and then alongside of it, this TRD, which stripped out a little bit of the it doesn't have the dual zone climate control, stripped out a little bit. I think no sunroof. I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah,
for racing.
For racing, and it was cheaper though.
Yeah,
but it was cheaper because if it was up to other German companies, they would have charged you more for the racing edition. But this one is actually cheaper. It was the cheapest way to get into a V6, and now this is the only way to get into a V6. Yeah. We were talking earlier. This car does not compete with anything in the market, which is
it's kind of in a class of its own
lonely.
now.
It's its only thing.
Yeah, there's no more midsize mainstream sedan that uses a V6.
Yeah. There are a couple of sporty ones out there, like the Sonata N-Line and the Kia K5 GT, but they're Turbo 4.
Yeah,
everyone's Turbo 4.
Everything
even when you get into like your BMWs and Mercedes and stuff, you still got to go a ways up the ladder to get into the optional 6s.
Yeah.
So this is really last of the remaining. It's got a wild body kit on it. Like, listeners, go look up this thing, a 2024 Camry TRD. It's got a wild body kit on it.
Wild is definitely the word.
Yeah, it's got a wild spoiler that looks very out of place in a family sedan, and I freaking love it. Like it's everything I would do to modify a family sedan if I were to own one. It just looks a little crazy. Like I mean,
sedan for cool dads.
That's the thing. Like I'm a dad. I'm a responsible dad that drives my kids in my Camry, but I can also party. If you look at the, like if you look at the kit, like it's got a like kind of an aftermarket looking wheels because they're matte black. It's got TRD badges, which is
like and little red stripes and accents everywhere.
And most importantly, it's got a little bit of that exhaust note that others just it's not too loud. Where now I'm become the irresponsible dad. I'm still a responsible one, and I just but at the screw drop off, like you can hear it, what's up.
Like, it sounds. So I was out earlier today. It sounds surprisingly good, especially out of the car. Like this is surprisingly juicy. Holy shit!
It's hilarious. It's just. It's comical, like how I think just it's how crazy this thing is. It's not it's just a Camry. Like I think we need to remind our listener, like it's still a Camry, so it's still it doesn't drive super sharp. Don't expect BMW reflexes, right? Like it's not a Lexus either. It's not super comfortable. It's not like super luxurious, but it just does everything smoothly with a little bit of kick.
Yeah. It feels very right. Like it steers pretty well. Like the throttle response is excellent because there's no turbos or anything to think about. The engine's power delivery is like super like smooth, creamy, linear.
Well, the gearbox is a little slow. It's an old gearbox, right? Yeah. So and it reminds you of that. It doesn't kick down when you kind of expect it to. But that's also because our senses have been kind of like desensitized with all these new Turbo 4s that just they kick down the second that you put pressure in it. It drives properly old school to me, but I absolutely love this thing.
And it's like up to like 7/10. We were saying earlier, it's great. Like actually pretty fun.
But that's the thing. I don't drive more than 710s anymore. Like, and I'm not taking this to the track. I'm driving this. Let's face it. I'm driving it to work. I'm driving it home. Like it's a good family car.
Yeah.
Remind me, guys, what does TRD stand for?
Toyota Racing Development.
Oh, so this is meant to be their track sedan then? No, it just doesn't work.
Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell.
So you're right. The engine is absolutely spectacular. I love that engine.
It
It's
is.
smooth. You're right. It sounds good. It does everything you'd want it to. Where this product falls apart for me is the silly name, the silly look of it, and just the silliness. If they had said, kind of like what they used to do with the, you used to be able to get a Camry LE
Sport.
V6 Sport, right?
Yeah.
And that was cool because then it was like, okay, this is the sporty edition. This is,
Yeah.
I'm the cool dad that wants to have something with a little bit of punch to it. I can enjoy it on some back roads, but there's no silly pretenses that I'm ever going to go do weekend track days with it. And that's what this thing looks like it's trying to be. And I think it's silly. It's absurd.
Yeah.
And when actually on the track, because I did have that little brief spell where I was able to do that a couple of years ago, it really falls apart in a hurry. And I drove it back to back with a Legacy GT. And I mean, this is not a sporty car either, and yet the GT was just a far better car in terms of its handling and its grip and just being able to place it and play with it on a track.
That Legacy was surprisingly good. I was really impressed with that.
Jeff, are you riding shotgun with anyone in this room right now when you took the Camry TRD around the track?
I might have been giggling beside him. No, I agree with Jeff though. Like if you look at this thing rationally and objectively, this doesn't make sense. It should not still be around. This V6 is, I would say we're gonna miss it. It's a good engine, but it's on their way out, and it's rightfully so.
I don't think rightfully so. I think that engine is the only reason why that car deserves to live. It's so good. It's so good. It sounds expensive because we've gotten so accustomed to turbo 4s and everything that when I was taken away from a light and it was making harmonic, nice V6 noises, my brain thought this is an $80,000 car because I'm used to hearing those noises from an $80,000 car now.
I wish there was a business case to be made where companies like Toyota could keep doing whatever, this Camry or the next generation Camry, and have all the electrified versions, the hybrids, the little 2-cylinder supercharged turbo mild hybrid, whatever you got to do to make all your requirements that you got to make. But then still offer this engine, this drivetrain as well.
That's what they're doing right now, Jeff. This is the only one they're offering.
But this is the end of it, though, right?
It is.
This is the end of it. But that's why I love it because I know if you want a hybrid one, you can buy a hybrid one. If you want to buy a brand new hybrid one, you can buy one in a few months because the next model year is coming.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm gonna miss this when it goes. It's just a little crazy. It's just a dad with a tattoo. It's cool,
with lots of tattoos, face tattoos. This is a Camry with face tattoos.
It's me with a mullet. Okay, so you can put it this way. So, but yeah, I think it's a dinosaur. We know this.
Yeah.
It's just but I'm really gonna miss it when it goes.
Yeah.
I'm glad Toyota brought it back for this one last hurrah. But I agree. It's tough to kind of rationalize it today because when it first launched a couple years ago, you could still get the XSC and the XLE with the V6, so it makes sense. The TRD being slightly decontented for under 40 grand, it makes sense. But now that they brought it back, it's a 40K Camry, and yet it's still missing certain bells and whistles that you've kind of come to expect, the dual zone climate, no sunroof, no. You still have a small infotainment display. It's running on Toyota's old software, mind you. So it does show its age in a couple of not so great ways.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it definitely it feels like a very dated product.
Yeah, and the interior feels dated as well.
Yeah,
but that's what makes it a relic.
And you know what? I'm glad it exists because it still delivers that buttery smoothness that you just don't get in
nothing.
In anything else.
Everything's a turbo 4. And
else.
we're spoiled with that fat mid-range instantaneous shove of torque oftentimes augmented by a 48-volt hybrid system, but like this is just so much nicer. It's so much more satisfying. I love this engine. They should put it in the Lotus. That'd be a great idea.
They are doing that, yes.
They are?
We'll save that for another episode. But I actually, Jeff, I think you recently also spent time with talking about dinosaurs. You also spent time with another one.
Yeah, well, and in fact, to kind of segue to that too, part of the appeal, I think, of even that old Camry, and likewise the dinosaur I'm about to speak of as well, is when you buy these machines, they are so well proven now that you're also kind of buying this extra peace of mind in terms of the longevity and durability of these things. And I know we're all very spoiled because we get to kind of flip in and out of cars very frequently. But if you're going to buy a car that you plan to keep for 10 years or more, something like this, like that Camry that has that drivetrain that has truly been proven, and controls that are, still physical buttons as opposed to a screen that may or may not become tedious, and who knows what.
Like there's no frustration points in it.
That's right. An even greater dinosaur is the one that I was just driving last week, and it's the 4Runner, which again, probably truly the last of its kind, and that this generation has been around for 15 years now.
I think almost.
I think not longer.
Yeah,
2005.
Even longer.
I want to see. I think the gearbox started in 2005, and the
that
engine,
could be, so
engine
it was
2010.
It's a long time, and when you get in it, same deal. There's a lot of things that are very dated about it, but the greatest appeal is that it is just this indestructible, real shit kicker kind of SUV that you can.
Yeah, you instantly trust it.
Yeah,
exactly. It's that, like, I think we can all speak about the 4Runner, even though you're the only one who recently drove one, because we've all
experienced
spent
it.
time in
it
it.
hasn't changed.
There's that sense of dependability. Like, if the world was to end today and I have to escape it, I would jump into that 4Runner and not all the digital screens. Nothing. I don't want that. There, that fan, like that fan that fires up. We just, anybody who's been around one knows exactly the sound. We're talking about. It's just spurly, like it's so good.
And there's no learning curve to that car. Like you get in it, it's like I don't need to figure out with the owner's manual how to
shift,
turn on
how to put it into drive.
Exactly. It's like everything is just the way it's been for 15 years. It's very simple and it just freaking works.
Yeah. I love that. Like a thing, I should start counting this, but a thing I pay attention to, like whenever I flip in and out of cars, is like frustration points, right? So like, I'm trying to do this. Where is, how do I, like frustration points. Why is this not simple? Why is this not obvious? And in those older Toyotas, there are none. There is zero. There's no opportunity for a frustration point.
Even something as dead simple as turning down the brightness of the instruments.
Yeah, turning down brightness, changing a radio station, saving seat memory.
Resetting the trip?
Resetting a trip is one that's brutal.
God. Like...
Or like, even then, how do I turn it on? Where's the on button on this damn thing? Like,
there's a
hidden
lot
behind
of
the steering wheel half the time.
Yep, switching between FM and AM, like it's so difficult in a lot of these new cars. Again, not to say like these truck and cars should still be around, because we know like it's evolution. But I think there's a bit of charm with that.
A few final thoughts on the 4Runner there. I like off-road driving. I do it as often as I can, which is never enough. But, we've got a Wrangler parked in our garage at home. I've got a GX as well, and both of them have been off the pavement a couple of times, more than a couple of times. And the 4Runner, right out of the box, wearing winter tires, no less. It wasn't even wearing proper all-terrains. We went and tackled some fire roads and up Vancouver Island there, and... like even on some very steep inclines and declines, like the crawl control feature works exceptionally well. It just, it makes all kinds of weird noises and everything, but it does its thing. It just, everything, you can trust that vehicle. And it's like what you were saying earlier. You can trust that vehicle. If you've got to escape the zombie apocalypse, that's the one that you want. It's going to be there for you no matter what. And it drives better on road than does a new Wrangler, because it's just a better setup. Yeah,
the 4Runner still drives very well. Like for all of its ancientnesses, it's you're not losing out on the road. It still drives great.
But it does feel old. And the thing that really struck me was I paid less than half what this mid-trim TRD off-road 4Runner cost for my old Lexus GX. And, my GX has 200,000 Ks, just short of 200,000 Ks on it now, and it drives better than the 4Runner, and it will go anywhere the 4Runner will go. So the problem is with most cars, you can kind of sit there and go, well, no, you want to buy the new one for its reliability's sake. But with this thing, you can buy a 10-year-old Lexus or 4Runner and still trust that it's going to be reliable as long as you keep maintaining it.
Yeah.
So the hard part is, why buy the new one when there are still so many good old ones out there that will do the same job and are just as modern as this new one anyway?
Well, that's why the resale on them is so high.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
yeah.
buy them, you don't lose any money on any of these trucks.
Yeah, and then people look at them and go like, well, wait, if I'm going to spend this much money on a used one,
might as well get a new
that's
one.
15 years old, and it's 15. Things are going to happen.
Sure.
Like, why would I not just spend the extra 8, 10, 15, whatever on that extra piece of mind and have a new car?
Yeah.
And
I see your point, and I make that point a lot with much less sensible vehicles. There's definitely something to be said there. And I forget where I was going with it.
But I think I remember just my time with the 4Runner. You just feel good driving them. There's just a weird sense of kind of achievement. It's weird. But when you're driving it, you kind of just the ride height. It's kind of perfect. You don't really have to climb into it, but you just kind of walk up into it, and you kind of walk. You walk down from it. We keep talking about all the controls are just right there. The lever where you lock the differentials is beefy. You actually have to know the truck to actually be able to to put it in. Kind of to lock up the differentials, it's great.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good point. So the transfer case switch there to go from 4 low to 4 high. In every Wrangler that I've ever used, you're wrestling with that stick. And it's sort of it may go, it may not go. You might have to let the vehicle roll a little bit before it'll bounce into place or jump into place. This thing, every time it was like you needed a bit of muscle to put it in there, but it operated as it was expected to do so, and it just fell into place. It was this is precision engineering here. It's not just a tractor,
Yeah, it's really well thought out, tough.
Yeah, tough, exactly.
Tough, but not brutal.
Yeah. Anyway, get one now because they're probably not going to be around for much longer. I'm expecting, I'm sure like we all are, that the replacement's bound to be announced any time now,
around
and
the corner.
It's probably going to have a 4-cylinder hybrid, or at least a 4-cylinder, I guess.
Yeah,
probably.
It'll probably be
and some digital screens.
And some digital screens and all that stuff. So we're much like that Camry, we're gonna miss this thing when it's gone.
Yeah.
Don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that are gone, that pretty much takes us to the end of our episode. Jeff, why don't you tell our dear listeners where they can find you?
Well, if you haven't heard enough of me rambling on, you can actually catch me on the Auto Guide podcast as well. I joined Kyle last week while Mike was away. If you want to read about my Santa Fe story, because you didn't get enough out of Nick's, then you can read that over at autotrader.ca. And that's probably about it for now. Yeah.
Very well then. Thank you all for tuning in. It has been a slice having all of you gentlemen in the studio. If you wish,
slice like pizza slice,
Oh
yeah.
Is that here yet?
It's in the box. It's in that black box right behind you.
Box. If you wish to keep tabs on our automotive misadventures, you can do so at DoubleClutch.ca on socials. See you all next week.
Hi, Mom.
Thanks for listening, Nathan's mom.